moving on. So this question comes from WGML, and it's, do you guys want to discuss formation changes that the Reds could make to get more out of the players we have, maybe adding one player in January to make this new formation come together? And then a man who's going to call Pack says, do we ban 3-5-2, even though with our squad it's probably really good? So I'm just going to say, no, we don't ban that. And I think we should discuss the possibilities of back three. But Arne Slot leaves. He's just decided he can't be away from his clogs and his tulips and his weed. So he's going back to the Netherlands. Liverpool are in a state of panic. Richard Hughes looks into the phone book, and the first name that pops up is Karl Matchett. And he appoints Karl Matchett, Liverpool manager. You walk in the door, Mr. Matchett. What is your immediate go-to formation with this group of players, given you've seen so much of them this season and you're fully aware of their strengths and weaknesses? What would you look to do to tweak things or completely make changes? You fire ahead.
So I wouldn't make wholesale sweeping changes. What I would do is commit properly one way or the other. My feeling at the minute is that Slot and his coaching staff and the team, whatever you want to say, are caught between what we used to play and a variation of 4-2-3-1, right? So we know, however they want to call it themselves, three in midfield still with Wirtz in there or whatever. Wirtz is basically playing as a 10 or Szoboszlai, whoever they've had it in there. The problem is when you play 4-2-3-1, or no, I should say, when other teams play 4-2-3-1 and play it competently, generally what happens is off the ball, your 10 and your 9 are generally the two who are left a little bit higher, and they maybe stop the centre-backs playing out and so on and so forth. But teams don't generally press in a line of 4 with then just 2 midfielders behind them. They play with the 2 and then a narrow, compact line of 4 for the midfield line. And that's what we're missing at the minute. So I would simply commit to that. The problem, obviously, that we have is that usually the wide midfielders or the wingers or the whatever you want to call them, inside forwards, are the ones who tuck narrow. If we go to an often referred to man on this podcast, Unai Emery, for example, if they're playing over the last few years, whether it's Marlon now or whether it's been John McGinn or whoever, they play out wide in the attack, but then off the ball they tuck in and they're quite narrow midfielders. You're obviously not going to be getting or asking Mohamed Salah to do that. So I think it needs to be make a decision on Wirtz or Cody Gakpo from the left, because both of them will do that, and then keep Salah on the right-hand side and have Dom as your 10, because Dom will be able to drop back in from the 10 central position in possession to the right side of midfield out of possession. So
like
you
did last year.
Very, very similar, but with probably greater regularity and therefore more emphasis on Salah staying higher and central rather than just wide off the ball. So we actually do have a 2 forwards out of possession and as compact as possible a 4, because at the minute our midfielders are shambles. We're trying to press with that front 4 or trying to not press but be in a line of a front 4. As soon as that's bypassed, it's inevitably either 2, 3 or 4 against our 2 midfielders, who more often than not are not playing in tandem, and it's 1 and then 1. And that's why it's so easy to play through us. And because it's 1 and then 1, you've maybe got Connor Bradley has pushed up a little bit higher, or you've got Kerkez has had to tuck in or has had to step into the midfield, or one of the centre-backs has stepped into midfield. It's all over the shop. I think we need to really commit to one or the other, so that's what I would do. Leave Salah as your starting right side, but out of possession, he immediately joins Isak or Ekitike. Dom drops from the number 10 position to the right midfield position, and you play with an actual double pivot.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this team right now and I see 3 pretty glaring issues. Number 1, and I think the biggest issue we have, because we have so much of the ball, is our build-up play is very poor at the moment. It's far too slow. There's not enough progression from deep areas. Number 2, and this goes to one of the ways we've been very successful in creating opportunities for ourselves in recent years, our press is an absolute shambles right now. As willing a presser as Florian Wirtz is, he's not nearly as good or aggressive a presser as Dom Szoboszlai is. As willing a presser as both Isak and Hugo are, they're not as relentless in their press as, say, Diogo Jota was, or even Darwin Núñez when his head was in the game, or Luis Diaz. Our wide players don't press with intensity. They're both intelligent players, and they're good at blocking passing lanes, but they don't really press very well. And then when teams play through that front two, which is quite easy for them because it's a bit disjointed and it's not as intensive as you'd want it to be, like you said, we're just getting outnumbered in midfield. And that midfield, regardless, is not particularly good defensively anyway. They're both attack-minded players who are being asked to play position in a shape and a role that doesn't maximize what they can offer. And then the third issue is, again, a false start. We're just far too easy to play through. We are so easy to play through and open up. This was a problem last season as well, but we got away with it a lot last season. And that midfield found a rhythm and found an ability to just make themselves more compact as a three, where the sum of the parts defensively was better than the individual pieces defensively. Plus you had Virgil playing at an ungodly level, which he is again this year. Ali played at an incredible level. Again, he is this year. But Ibu also played at an incredible level for much of the season, which he's not this season. So they're the three issues that I see with this team. So for me, I have two shapes that I would look to change to. The first is to keep a back four. I would go Szoboszlai at right back because I think he's the best defensively of the three options and he's by far the best passer of the three options. So I get a bit more defensive solidity and I improve our progression. I might consider Joe Gomez as the right-sided centre-back because, again, I think he's just better on the ball than Konate is. So, again, I'm upping my progression. And I don't think I'm losing a ton defensively. Ibu at his very best is better than Joe at his very best, but I think when Ibu's at his worst game is worse than Joe's worst game. So I think Joe just gives me more of a guaranteed level of consistency. I go Virgil, I go Kirkes. Then I go a flat three in midfield to give myself a base which allows me to throw those fullbacks forward and give them a bit more freedom as well, especially Kirkes. Dom, you let float a bit and maybe keep him a bit deeper for progression, but then he can also join the attack. In that midfield three, I'm going Gravenberch on the right of the midfield three. And I'm going to free him up to play a little bit higher. McAllister on the left of that midfield three. And just get back to playing his more natural game. And at the base of my midfield, in that number 6 position, I'm putting Curtis Jones. Because of all of our midfielders, he's the best defensively. He's the best positionally. He's very mobile. He's also a very good progressor of the ball. Now, there is tweaks that need to be made to his game to get him to release that ball a little bit quicker. But I do think if you put him in that deepest role and give him that responsibility, I do think he can respond to it. So I think with these changes, I've made us stronger defensively, tougher to play through, and I've improved the progression. Then I go Wirtz as a 10, and I rotate Salah, Isak, and Hugo as a front two. Two of them always start, and every one of them starts 2 out of 3 games. And I keep them fit, keep them fresh, and hopefully build 3 different partnerships between them. Hugo and Mo, Hugo with Isak, Isak and Mo. Now, that's not perfect, and I don't think it's going to be great in the press, but maybe I'm okay losing the pressing aspect being stronger defensively and better on the ball, better in build-up, a bit more incisive. And if I'm getting, even if Szoboszlai is not bombing up and down, if I can get Gravenberch taking up that right-hand space and using his range and his mobility and his ball carrying into that space, I think that's fine. Kerkez will fill the left side, and I don't need him always concerned about getting back because I've got the extra man there in midfield, and I can slide things and move Virgil across a bit more to cheat with a midfielder dropping back in or with Szoboszlai tucking if need be. So that's shape number one for me. And I'll come back to who I would want to, to take that to the next level. Shape number two is a little bit tougher to pull off because we only have 3 fit centre-backs. But I would like to see us try at least a 3 at the back. 3-4-2-1. I would go Gomez on the right, Virgil in the middle. I would go Frimpong as right wing back, Kerkez as left wing back, and I think that gets the most out of them. It gets me more natural width. It makes me more aggressive. Isak is the 9 or Hugo, but Isak cost 125 million, so I'm going Isak with Mo and Wirtz behind them. The midfield, I think I'm going Szoboszlai and McAllister with Jones rotating with them. So again, everyone starts 2 out of 3 games and you build partnerships there. And I slide Gravenberch to the left side centre-back role. In the short term, it gives me some ball carrying from the back, which I think will help. I think next to Virgil, I think he'd be okay in that role. He's not a good defender, but he's big, he's strong, he's quick. And if Virgil is talking him through games, I think he's okay there. It's not ideal, but I would like to see what it would look like. Now, for that to go to the next level, the obvious thing to do in January is go out and buy a left-footed centre-back. Someone like Lukeba from Leipzig is a perfect fit. Gives you flexibility as well because he can also move to left-back in the back 4 if you want to change in-game or change for a specific game. You can still have him in the team with Virgil as the left-sided one and Ibu or Joe as the right-sided one, and then whoever right back. So I think he makes that system really tick and take off. For the other one, the 3-4-1-2, I think it's Adam Wharton more so than anyone else. Someone to sit at the base of that midfield and really get us moving. That then frees Curtis up to rotate with Gravenberch and McAllister. So he can play either 8 position. And again, I can keep them fresh. And he can play the 6 as well. So I'm going to have 4 midfielders for 3 roles, like we did last year, and hopefully be able to manage their minutes better than we did last year. But that Wharton to Wirtz connection is what I'm going to look to build there. It'll almost be a diamond, but more of a flat 3 just to give us a bit more solidity. And I think something like that would work really well with this group of players. So,
all right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.